Was Commando Zoop the first indie developer? Well, that's slightly facetious, but let's take a look anyway. We have to go way back to the year 1993. Ancient history. Back then, he was a delightful little lad in 4th grade who was in love with video games, as all kids are. Except he had an absolutely terrible bowl cut. He was assigned an apprentice project in school, so of course, like every kid nowadays, he wanted to make his own video games. But this is 1993. There's no internet, there are no game engines. We're talking about the Stone Age here. So he'd have to find someone to teach him. Well, let me tell you, he was a lucky son of a gun. Because it just so happened that both of his parents not only liked computers, nerds, but they even knew how to code, particularly his mother. So his mother attempted to teach her foolish bowl-cut son how to make a video game in no other than Visual Basic 3. Programmers, feel free to cry in the comments below. Well, he passed the assignment with flying colors, largely because his wonderful mother walked him through the entire assignment. Suffice to say, he wasn't the brightest crayon in the box. The most basic concepts were still quite baffling to him. On the flip side, he was darn persistent. Nearly every day he tried to code anything. He drew inspiration from anything around him, from real life, from video games, to sports. He wasn't ever really successful. He never completed anything. Until September of 1999. Everything changed. On that fateful day, he discovered WinSock in Visual Basic, which provided TCP/IP communication. In other words, the modern way to communicate through the internet, how games to this day transmit their data. His mind was overwhelmed with the possibilities. He had to make a multiplayer game with this newfound power, but what? Paintball 3 Extreme. He simply took one of his old games, Paintball 2. He had a Paintball 1 before that, and he rewrote it from scratch, and he added in multiplayer this time. Of course, he added the word extreme because, everything was extreme in the 90s. And extreme it was, a top-down shooter with a kitchen sink worth of concepts from many of his favorite games, such as Counter-Strike's Crosshair, RPG-style stats, environmental hazards like snow, because that makes sense while paintballing, an inventory system, an MMORPG chat log, a matchmaking service similar to Valve's old matchmaking service, and a motorcycle, because why not? At his school's computer club, he showed his friends his game, and despite its jankiness, and trust me, it was janky, they liked it. So much so that they told their friends, and their friends, and their friends. So he hand-wrote his own website on GeoCities. He asked a friend of his who had a popular Digimon site. Whatever Digimon is, does anyone remember what that is anymore? So he had his friend post the link to his website. And also the game went viral on the internet. The game eventually hit 80,000 downloads while the counter worked. Commando Zoop didn't know how to make a proper download counter. Most importantly, there were matches being played every single day. Realize this is the dial-up modem days. Fans made maps, logos, artwork, websites, guides, forums, clans, hosted competitions and services, and wrote their own tools. Seemingly out of nowhere, out of his own silly persistence to make video games, he accidentally created a gaming community, starting in 1999. So, getting back to the question, was Commando Zoop the first indie developer? Realistically, no. I did start out saying I was being facetious. There were plenty of talented game developers making fantastic games before him, the same ones that inspired him. Some developed and grew in popularity, just like Paintball 3 Extreme, with effectively no budget. Maybe the first modern indie developer? Well, it's hard to define modern. You have to realize game development as a career hasn't existed very long. But maybe we could draw some similarities to at least today. Fireability, the initial grippiness of a game, a concept that's so exciting that you have to tell your friends, like Untitled Goose Game, for example. Player-developer interaction. The developer and the players worked closely together, tweaking and expanding to make a game that they all loved. This is exactly what Commando Zoop did with Paintball 3 Extreme for 5 years. A close, tight-knit, positive community. The players genuinely enjoyed the game, so much so that it transcended the game itself. This could be similar to Warframe's fandom, where players go to conventions, play Magic together, and create amazing art pieces based off of that game. So, what the F is this video actually about? Well, if it wasn't obvious, I am Commando Zoop. Though it should have been kind of obvious, because look at the channel name, look at the developer's name. But I wanted to share my story that started about 20 years ago now. But why now? Well, because I am going to start a video blog about our development journey. I felt like an introduction was in order. Unfortunately, the last many years, we have not been quite as communicative as we were in 1999. And admittedly, what changed? Life. We all grew up. In the coming weeks, I'm going to reveal the inner workings of Zoop Tech, unlike I ever have before. I figured it'd be nice for y'all to know a little about our past, and particularly my own past. If it wasn't obvious by our story, we really appreciated our positive community and our close interaction with them. Those years really defined my life. Frankly, it is my dream to bring those days back. And it just so happens we have a game waiting for us to rally behind. Forging Glory. In the near future, I will be revealing our current status, our current predicament, and begin our development journey together. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.